Fresh off her stunning performance at the Olympic street skating qualifiers in Shanghai, we welcome Poe Pinson. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We're also joined by Poe's dad and staunchest supporter, Kenny Pinson. Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
Oh, we're delighted to have you.
Pleasure.
So, Poe, let's start with your recent trip because you really must still be a little jet lagged.
yeah, just a bit, but
You got back from Shanghai Monday night?
I believe so. I've honestly got my
Yeah.
days all
Yeah,
mixed
it was
up.
Monday
But
night.
okay, yeah, he
Monday
probably
night.
knows better than me.
And so, how was the event?
It actually went pretty good. Beforehand, I was kind of feeling, I guess, just a little over it as a whole. I guess just because I don't know. There was a lot. Because I've been filming stuff for Nike SB, and there's this rule about advertising where I wasn't going to be able to be in the video for Nike SB that was going to premiere at the Olympics because I was going to be in it. But that's kind of getting sorted out. And then there was another video that I wasn't going to be in, so I was like, oh, this is all just kind of a mess. But I talked to one of the coaches, and she was kind of just telling me to, whatever, it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. May as well go ahead and try my best. So it honestly went pretty well. We had a few days there beforehand, so I got to hang out and skate the streets with my friends. And then same thing, the contest, I surprisingly wasn't really too nervous. I was kind of just like, oh, whatever, this is just gonna go how it goes. Then ended up qualifying pretty well, and then the next round landed all my stuff, somehow ended up qualifying into the next round. And then I was kind of just like, well, okay, well, may as well just give it my all. And then I ended up getting fourth, which is the best I've ever done at one of these events. So
Wow.
That's
kinda
extraordinary.
crazy. Yeah.
Congrats. Kenny, it's my understanding that you were the one who bought Poe her first skateboard.
Yeah, it was like a Walmart, Kmart board, kind of inferior. But yeah, I didn't want to go big money-wise, but she
She-
came to me immediately and said, Dad, she pushed it around and it just went in circles. And I said, okay, you made your point.
She was how old?
About 4 years old. For her fourth birthday. That's what she wanted to do. Go to the skate park. She didn't want any presents. That was her present. And so we went to the skate park, and she's written her own story.
And so she took to it pretty much right away.
Yeah. It's been an amazing adventure with her because you could just tell the way she walked and skated. I put a tennis racket in her hand at about the same time she got on the board, which was about 2.5. And I was more tennis inclined, but when I saw her on the skateboard, it just eclipsed anything I thought about.
She actually got on her first board at 2.
Yeah, too. She ran over a little plastic ramp. I was holding her hand in our neighborhood. These little kids were out there on it, and they said, "Hey, you want to try it?" To Poe, and Poe, of course, little daredevil that she is, she said, "Yeah, let's do it,"
Yeah.
and she did it.
So, Poe, you really got going, I guess, a little bit after 4. I mean, you started competing really early.
Yeah,
Age
what-
6.
yeah, I was about to ask him when, yeah, I guess, when I was 6, I did, what was that? Just like a
Local
yeah.
comps.
Yeah, I feel like up until everything was kind of just local up until
Kona, you went to Kona skate
yeah.
park.
That's
did.
here in Jacksonville, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Classic
then and
ancient
then she
skate
went down to
park.
Cocoa Beach and won in bowl or
Yeah.
one-
I didn't even bother with the street division. I don't
right.
think.
You just the street. That's right, exactly.
And you're 19 now.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how these games are structured, because skateboarding is still kind of new to the Olympics. This will just be the second time that it's been an event. And they split up street skating from park skating. So explain to us, what is the difference between those two events?
So okay, street. I mean, it's basically, it's like gender and discipline. So there's like female street, whatever. Like anyway, and so park is kind of like a bowl, I guess, like kind of just empty swimming pool vibe, except it's like actually designed for skating. And then Street is things that are more incorporated in the actual streets, like handrails, stair sets, like just gaps, stuff like that, banks. But I mean, both of them obviously are skate parks, but yeah, I don't really. Park is a little bit more intense, honestly, just from my friends who compete in park. I hear some things, but yeah, street for sure, especially like women's street. There's like a really good vibe. I mean, everyone that's like kind of on top right now is younger than me. Like it's really insane. Like I was reading one of the like press releases or whatever from the competition, and I got called the eldest finalist. And I
Wow.
was like,
That's funny.
oh, but yeah, it's kind of I know how streets judge. It's kind of I guess it's judged kind of the same. It's really hard to judge just because it's a very like I guess I don't know. It can just be everyone has their preferences on who they like to watch skate. It's like some people are like, "Wow, this person actually is like the best skater ever," but I don't like the way they like really look on a skateboard. So it's like I don't know. Everyone has their own opinions and stuff. So I guess for that it's you can't really like put points on tricks, but in like the sports side of it, competition, it's kind of based on consistency, execution, and like I don't know. For what I go for, I try and go for like like the amount of tricks I can fit into a run, like diversity too. Like you can't just have like four of the same trick in your 45-second run. It's kind of got to be yeah.
One of the things that's interesting too is that I mean, it's certainly with this street skating portion, it sounds like there is sometimes not an expectation, but an understanding that you're not always going to hit your trick. Like you may fall, and that necessarily happens with the understanding that it's because you're doing such really difficult tricks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have 45 seconds to land. I don't really even remember how many tricks are in my run in Shanghai, but to land
10 average.
say like 8 tricks. So you have 45 seconds to land 8 tricks, and you get two tries to do that. So it's kind of there's the window's pretty small, but then compared to other sports, like we were watching the speed climbing and stuff, they just have to scale this wall as fast as they can. All comes down to like milliseconds. But yeah, I mean for skating, it's kind of yeah. I'm always just happy if I land my run. I'm kind of just like, oh, like I landed my run, sweet. But yeah, it's kind of crazy what it can kind of come down to. Just the focusing on one thing at a time, and breathing's really important.
Huh. Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Team USA street skater Poe Pinson of Fernandina Beach and her father Kenny about the path to the Olympics this June. You can join our conversation on air by calling 904-549-2937. You can also email firstcoastconnect@wjct.org, or you can reach out on social media. We have a call from Charles on the west side. Good morning, Charles. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Oh, it's so nice to hear about you, Poe. I was going to ask you what your, excuse me, whether you did the street or whether it was on a prepared course, but you already answered that. But, you know, it's amazing the technology has come so far. My first skateboard back in the the mid-'60s was we sawed our own board, and then we screwed on the wheels from roller skates onto the that was our first skateboards back then. But it's so nice. Good luck on your run, and it was so great and inspiring to hear from you this morning.
Thanks, Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you are watching, we do live stream now on Facebook and YouTube. We do have Poe's current skateboard in-house, not the one that her dad gave her from Walmart, but the one that she's actually using currently. We'll have a shot of that to show you. Anything special about this board that you have, added or done, or anything that you particularly require in the board that you use?
Not really. My setup's kind of crazy. I ride a pretty short wheelbase. It's like a 13.38 inch wheelbase, which is pretty short. I feel like the average is like 14.25.
Is that the distance between the wheel and the board, or between the
that
wheels?
one's between so there's like the trucks and the wheels and the deck. It's kind of where the trucks sit on the deck, like how far apart. And then there's the length of the board too. But I feel like nothing really special. I ride kind of bigger wheels, like size 58 wheels, which is I feel like usually more park and vert skaters ride bigger wheels like that. But I don't know, I kind of like them. And then ride pretty loose trucks too. But then yeah, 8.25 with skateboard, so pretty standard.
And you're goofy footed, is that right?
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
Goofy footed, it's basically just when you have your right foot forward and your left foot back. I don't know. Some people try and say that if you kick a ball with your right foot, you should be regular footed, but I don't know. I kick a ball with my right foot and I ride goofy. So,
All right. Kenny, I want to ask you. I mean, you had Poe kind of late in life,
Right, yeah, in my early 50s.
in your early 50s. How has that, if at all, how has your age affected your parenting of Poe?
It's a good question. Maturity, maybe. Me being more mature than I would have been had I had her in my early 20s or something, or late 20s. And able to coalesce into the upbringing. I worked in archaeology at the time in the restaurant business. After I had her, I was working part-time. And so I was very focused with her. And that was a big part of her upbringing, just being in tune with her.
Mm-hmm. And you have actually written a book together, which I
Yeah.
think is pretty cool. Tell us about how that came together.
It's called Click and Poe. It's about a click beetle. And we interacted with that little beetle for a couple of hours until we lost it into the thickets. We just put it away and couldn't find it again.
In real life,
In real life, right. In real life, yeah.
Poe was playing with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's the one who found it. I mean, she was just close to the ground, where it was tooling around outside. And she found it. And she said, "Look, Dad." And I didn't know what it was at the time. It was a beetle of some sort, but I didn't know it was a click beetle. But we discovered it, and it was just like click and flip. And so we just got a major amount of joy out of watching this little critter. And so I fell in love with it, and just it kind of evolved out of our interactions. So the book was written from that experience.
Was this the first time you had thought about writing a book?
With Poe, yeah. And I've got other ideas with her skateboarding. I've got a book already started. I'm hoping she'll kind of like just take it over, take the pressure off me.
Is it a children's book as well?
It's a children's book, yeah.
So what's the story of Poe and Click, Poe?
I don't really know. I feel like I didn't really have that big of a part in it, honestly.
You kind of
but-
inspired it more than...
Yeah.
Right. She was inspiration. And I went to her with a lot of technical ideas about the writing and the art. The art was very important because it was done by Lee Cohen.
And who's Lee Cohen?
He's a friend of mine. He's a skateboarder too. And he did the artwork. I met him, and he had all these little cool stickers of different things. And we just kind of like became good friends through all of that. And
So he agreed to do the drawings?
yeah, so he agreed to do the drawings.
We have a question from Jim via email, Poe. He says, we think about Olympians as training relentlessly for years. What is a training day like for you?
Well, for me, training, I guess I guess I don't really train like on my board. There are some things where I'll kind of keep things in mind, or this goes just for like anything in skating. If I have an idea just for a trick that I want to try on something, I can kind of try it on. So if I in this most recent contest, for example, I did like a gap back 5-0 on this rail. I was really scared, but I did like back 5-0s on like all the other rails that were there. Just
And
to
explain
kinda
what
get
that looks
ready.
like. What does that look like to an observer?
So I guess it's kind of you're on your back truck, which is the metal thing holding the wheels, and you like, I guess, jump with your back facing the rail, and then you set it down on top of the rail on your back truck, and then kind of pinch it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess training.
And then then you're sliding along this rail, right?
Oh yeah.
So you
Then
go up
then you come
backwards,
off.
and are you riding it backwards?
No. You're riding it. It's just with you're riding it normally, but then just with your back facing the rail, and you pop up and put it on your back truck. So you're kind of in like a wheelie position on the rail, basically.
Gotcha.
And then come off. But I guess training. I don't really train on my board. I guess I can kind of visualize different things. If I want to try a trick, I do it on other things, and just this goes for like just filming too in the streets, like. I guess you can just visualize that, but I don't really train. I know some people do like train pretty hardcore, but I don't know, I'm not really cut out for all that. I work out. I work with the trainer, Melanie. She's great. I've been seeing her since I was 14. Cause I mean, skating's it's hard on your body. It's not good for your body. So I just try and keep up with that. I have a lot of back issues and knee stuff. So
Yeah, let's talk about injuries. I mean, I was saying that one of the reasons that the Olympics was somewhat resistant to introducing skateboarding in the first place was because the IOC didn't want to take on the liability of the possibility of severe injury. The page in the Olympics said, even death, which was a surprise to me. But I guess you can get terrible head injuries. So, what is your history of injuries?
I've been lucky enough not to have too many like brutal acute injuries, especially like not so far, but I've hurt. I still have like a lingering bone bruise in my knee, kind of on the top of my fibula. And then because there was one instance I like twisted my knee up kind of bad. I actually have a video of it. It honestly looks way worse than it actually ended up being. I thought I had torn something right away. It was really weird, but I got an MRI. It turns out I just strained my MCL and then had a like pretty gnarly bone bruise. The orthopedic doctor said he's really surprised I didn't like break my leg entirely, but I guess that kind of goes to just with doing a lot of like preventative stuff with my trainer and just athletic training, so to speak, just to prepare my body for getting slammed on the concrete, basically. And then that all like it was kind of weird. It kind of worked its way up. So before that too, I had kind of jammed my ankles up pretty bad. I like hot pocket or just kind of my dorsiflexion on like the top of my foot. I jammed that up pretty bad. Then that took a few months to heal. Right as that was healing, I sprained my ankle pretty bad. That took a few more months, and then sprained my other ankle pretty bad. That took a few more months. Then after that was all good. That's when I hurt my knee. Couldn't skate for a few months because of that. And then about like last summer, I would say everything was kind of good by then, but then my back kind of started hurting. So then that kind of just like escalated. Then I actually hurt my back when I was in Portugal on a skate trip. And then so I got MRIs for that and stuff. And turns out I have just like arthritis in all of my L vertebrae and then my S1. And then I have like a degenerative disc disease. I'm pretty sure that might be, I'm pretty sure genetics might have to do with this too. But, and then I have like 3 herniated discs, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So kind of got a lot going on, but it's all pretty manageable as long as I'm like taking care of my body. But
Is that, I mean, you were an alternate for the 2020 Olympics, and now you're on Team USA, heading towards Paris. But all of these injuries happening as you're going through the steps towards that eventual competition.
yeah.
That makes it difficult.
Yeah, it does. I've missed, it's kind of weird because I guess I honestly kind of got lucky in a way because I've missed like 3 of the contests from this, I guess,
Olympic series.
segment. But it was kind of the same thing last time. I did well because it works in a weird way. It's kind of a point system. So different competitions, I'm not sure why they do this, but are worth different amounts of points. So I missed, for example, in like this most recent one, I missed like the first world championships. And then that kind of like set me pretty behind. I was like, whatever, I don't know. I didn't really think too hard about it. And then I did pretty good at the next one, but it was only a pro tour stop. So it was worth like a third of the points that the world championship one was worth. And then same thing, I missed the next stop, but that was just a Pro Tour stop. And then the next one in Tokyo was like a world, not the Olympics, but there was another separate one in Tokyo. That one was a world championships, and I did all right. I didn't really do too well, but I got like 20 something, which is all right. But then that gave me some points, and then I missed another Pro Tour stop in Dubai this like recent February. I just didn't really, there was just too much going on for me to go. I had so many other things. I was like in New Zealand. It was overlapping. It was a lot. But yeah, but somehow I was still kind of in an all right position, like ranked like 24th in the world, I think.
Wow.
I don't
Amazing.
know how that managed to stay, but yeah, then this most recent one bumped me up to like 9th in the world. So
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
amazing.
It's kind
Amazing.
of crazy how it all unfolded, just because so much injury and just yeah.
Well, we're talking to skateboard champ Poe Pinson from Fernandina Beach on her way to the Olympics. So, Kenny, what has to happen for her now between now and the June Olympics in order for everything to fall into place?
Her physical trainers, and then just her mindset, working with skating every day, and just being disciplined.
There's one more round of qualifying, though?
Yeah,
or-
there's
Yeah.
Budapest. I'll let Paul.
Budapest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And what
yeah.
needs to happen there?
I guess I just like don't have like, as long as I don't blow it, I should be pretty good.
No
yeah.
injuries. Yeah, we're hoping for the best.
Yeah,
that-
if I
that's-
just do decent in Budapest, I should be going.
So, in your for your gender and your sport, which is the street skating, they have 3 U.S. Contenders that they'll send.
yeah, so I still don't really honestly understand how it all works, but I think it's like top 20, and then the country quota is 3.
Okay.
So
I mean, what does it mean to you to think about being an Olympian, being there at the games and competing? Does that evoke any particular feeling in you?
I don't know, kind of crazy, just because I never really even thought about it until even the last time. I didn't really even know that I was that close to going. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a crazy feeling. Definitely very grateful, because some people like are born into this, especially seeing like people from other countries and stuff who really have to, like Japan, for example. They're already at like the max country quota for just these competitions. They have 6, and then all 6 of them are kind of like really competing for the top 3, and I see them getting kind of like, I just see the hardships for other countries and stuff. So I feel pretty grateful that it's just like a thing where I'm kind of just like, wow, this is crazy that this is even like in reach at all. So yeah, because I mean, I didn't really start skating for that. It's not really one of my core values. I feel like I make most of the memories just by the people I meet and everything like that. So I don't know.
How about for you, Kenny? I mean, what do you envision her in Paris in this competition? What does it mean to you?
Never on our radar. But let me tell you an interesting story. There was a Clemson University couple who came down to the skate park on vacation at the beach where we live, Fernandina. And they looked at Poe and saw me interacting with her, giving her water and whatnot. And they came and talked to me. And I said, yeah, well, go ahead and talk with Poe. And they came up and said, young lady, we're going to see you in the X Games. We're going to see you in the Olympics. And Poe was only like 6 or 7 at the time, way preceding the Olympic authorization of skateboarding.
And she was in the X Games too, right?
And she was in the X Games. That all came to fruition, you know. And so for us, I mean, for me as a kid, it was always just the Olympics was some kind of dreamy thing that I watched on television. And for Poe to have the opportunity to compete was just way beyond me in terms of thinking and dreaming, you know, as a family.
And we hear, Poe saying, I mean, she's going to Hungary, she's been to China, just got back from Shanghai, she's been to Dubai, she's been to New Zealand.
Italy. Wow.
Are you
I
able to
traveled,
go with her at all on those places?
Yeah, I traveled to Italy with her and to Japan. Two places that I never
Brazil.
dreamt of being with my daughter. And Brazil. Oh yeah, Brazil. That's right. Yeah. And it was just an amazing thing to watch my daughter perform under those circumstances.
And so, what do you foresee for you in terms of being in Paris for these for this competition? It's in June. Let's see. Does it?
Late July for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
late July to August. It ends on
I'm
my
sorry.
birthday.
July 28th. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
the
July-
actual
Sure,
competition?
I think that's when it begins, or the actual.
should be around there.
And it ends on my birthday, the 11th of August. Kind of funny.
So you would plan on being there?
Yeah. I won't miss Paris.
Yeah. So you also, I mean, you have other sports that you like to do. You surf.
Honestly, surfing, I'm not too good at.
Okay.
Surprisingly, for living real close to the beach and stuff. I'm alright. I can kind of paddle into a wave and stand up and stuff. But I feel like, skating's mostly just been. I had never really played sports in school. I mean, I played kickball and stuff at recess, but I got really into golf. Right before my back started hurting when my knee was hurt, I started playing a lot of golf, maybe too much golf, which kind of contributed to my back pain.
Mm.
But so I started at the beginning of the year and then I played until the summer, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know what it is about it, because before I started playing golf, I was kind of just like, oh, golf's kind of stupid, whatever, this and that. But then I started playing golf and I was like, all right, I see now why people are obsessed with this. Yeah.
You've tasted the addiction.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But
We still hit tennis too.
yeah, I like tennis. I mean, yeah, but mostly skating's just kind of always been oh, why would I go do this when I could skate? Or I did gymnastics for a while when I was young too, but that kind of happened through skating. I met my gymnastics teacher at the skate park.
That's
Yeah.
funny. All right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
And,
Hungary,
yeah.
Budapest, Hungary, June 20th through 30th, and then Paris in July. I hope you keep us up to date with your progress, and it's really fun to talk to you both about this path to the Olympics. It's really excellent, Poe. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank
Kenny,
you.
thanks for making the trip down and talking to us about Poe.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.